Lunch with a Good Rap Boys on the Joey Matterhorn channel. Jordan, you're wearing some fast fashion today. Something
Well,
stylish.
nah, Cody, I think I've been wearing this for years.
Jeez. Wait, so tell the story. Tell everyone what's going on here. Why do you have this actually somewhat nice, and I'm a little bit jealous, cowboy hat on?
You could have listen, Cody, you were there for just as many days as was. You could have went and got yourself a cowboy hat, all the same as I went and got
Uh,
myself a cowboy hat.
I don't think I could pull it off. The thing is, so I
I
always put
can't
my
pull it off either, Cody. It's gonna be hanging on my wall as soon as we're done with these two lives.
you are you committing to wearing it the full time?
I'm probably gonna wear it. I'll probably try and wear it full time. If it don't get too hot, feel start getting sweaty or anything, I'm probably gonna take it off.
If I don't get too warm, I'm
If
gonna
I
be wearing
don't,
my hat.
if I don't pop a busker and I don't start sweating.
Jeez. Well, hey. So the Good Red Boys were in Nashville. We actually went on a little bit of a business trip together. We took our social media guy and we got to go down to Nashville from up here in Michigan. If you've been listening to the show, you know that we're up here in Michigan. We've been here for forever, founding a good rep, all that. And I don't think like wait. No, you've been to Nashville, right?
I've been to Nashville one time. It wasn't like a real Nashville experience. The only thing I did was we just went to the Opry Mills Mall and then we
Mm.
drove through down. And we also went. We ate at a restaurant somewhere. I don't know what the restaurant was called. I don't even know where it was in Nashville. Um, and then we just drove down Broadway like for like a second and then left.
The driving down Broadway part is a whole adventure, man. So
Yeah.
we left Michigan on Thursday, bright and early, and it's about an 8.5, 9 hour long drive. Came back on Sunday, but the whole reason we went down originally was to get together kind of as a company, to get together with some of our new coworkers that we haven't had a chance to meet, and to also meet with our boss, which we love to get together with the boss man, have a
Always
little bit
good.
of a jam session. What are you
Thank you,
what
Sarah.
were what were your thoughts going down? Because I've been on these types of trips before, and I don't think that you have. And I know that you had a little bit of
There was a part of me that was like going into it. I was almost kind of dreading it. I'm not gonna lie. Uh,
yeah.
I was like, it's gonna be like all work, 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 work. Like all that, and then to an extent, there was a lot of work being done.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know. I kind of had this gut feeling that it was gonna turn into like, yeah, we're gonna go like maybe get like a paid for dinner, and then we're just gonna spend our time at the house, not really get out there and like experience Nashville as much. And a part
Yeah.
of me was like, I don't even know if I'm really in a mood to do it, like to get out and see Nashville. But then, kind of once we started doing it, then I really found myself kind of like excited to get out there and do a lot of Nashville things.
Yeah, and it we did have some good opportunities to get out there. So I want to like say we got there on Thursday and we had to go directly to team dinner and it sucks cuz we were a little bit late. Everyone had already sat down.
Yeah, but like, see, I think you always see that very differently than I did. Yeah, everybody was already there, but they were there for like maybe 5-10 minutes before us. It's not like they had ordered food and stuff like that because that wasn't where we weren't going to a place where it was like
Well,
ordering
no, it
food.
was not a
You
you
know,
order food. We tell them about that, man, because we
so
got to
yeah,
go to a
yeah,
Brazilian
we went to
steakhouse and that's
we went to a Brazilian steakhouse. Those who aren't familiar with how that works is it's not like you order like a certain meal. I think they had meals you could order if you didn't want to do the normal style.
I'm not
But
sure.
the idea is like, like they give you like a card that's like red side, green side. And if you're on the green side, that means you want more food. And they walk around with like good, well cooked steak, um, like of all different temperatures and everything, all different cuts. They bring it out to you, and then like if you have that green side up, they just like cut you off a piece onto your plate. There's like a really fancy salad bar that you can top off and like do a bunch of other stuff. It was funny though, like Sam had said, like from the moment that we like sat down, we went and we hit the salad bar, we filled it up with stuff, and then we were like, oh no, we shouldn't have done that. We should have left more room on our plate for all the meat that just keeps coming around.
That's how they get you, man. That's how
Mm-hmm.
they get
It
you.
is. It really is. And so yeah, like I mean, I know you guys were in a different spot of the table, and maybe it wasn't quite the same experience, but like to Sam and I, like everything was fantastic.
Well, and that's what we're here for. In all honesty, like I want to
Thank you,
kind of get
Conrad.
this out of the way because I know we're going to be getting into some stories here, and I want to be able to kind of explain just like the general atmosphere of why we were going. And also, I want to call out, hey Z, I welcome. Not much is up. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate you
we're
asking.
pretty exhausted. We all told Cody as we were like getting out of the car that we were probably gonna do like a sick day. He
Oh
wasn't
my
excited
gosh.
like that, so we're here.
We were driving back. I'm dropping these guys off, and they're like, "So about that sick day tomorrow, I'm just gonna call that in early." I'm like, "Oh no, you ain't, dude. If I wake up at 8
You didn't
a.m."
say no, you ain't. You just started stressing because you believed we
Well,
were
the
gonna do that.
dude, immediately I'm like, okay, problem to solve. I need someone to hop on the live. Jordan's gone. Like you were, as soon as you joked about it, dude, you were chopping block. I was like, okay, Jordan's gone. We know he ain't making it tomorrow.
I'll,
No, I know you guys are just kidding.
I laid down on my couch. Like I got home, I turned on the Cowboys versus Packers. I was kind of excited to see that game, and I laid down on my couch and I opened up my beaver nuggets from Bucky's and I started eating them. I think I don't know. I just woke up like after the game and like half the bag of beaver nuggets were gone. And I don't remember eating all
You were
of
like,
them.
I was starving, and did you not get food?
I didn't get a whole lot of food. I got that burger at Wendy's on the way down. And we
And that's
stopped
all you
somewhere else,
ate?
didn't we? Did we stop anywhere else to eat on the way down?
No.
No, yeah, that was all I ate.
Probably should have had food. That's probably why, dude. I was so.
Well, I kind of thought like
I thought we were gonna stop too.
when we stopped to eat the first time, I wasn't crazy hungry, and
Yeah,
then there were talks of us stopping again. So I was like, I'm just gonna get something small right now because even if I had gotten something big then, I don't think I would have finished it then. You know, because
yeah.
I just wasn't at that point, and it wasn't a big deal. Like
No, not even
I,
slightly.
I also finished that pack of jerky in the back. You know,
Nice, good.
yeah,
We had that jerky for a hot second, but
don't
so
anymore.
the half the reason that we plan trips like this is to get out and to get together as a team. I think we've talked a couple of times about like how being work from home can kind of not necessarily like ostracize you, but make you feel like you're ostracized without actually ostracizing you
Yeah,
because you're not seeing people, you're not interacting with people, and I think it's really important to get out there. Do you feel good about that? Do you feel
yeah.
like okay, you
No,
went on this business trip? Did it feel like a business trip?
absolutely. Yes and no. I think we like the work portion of like the day, like Friday was like our work portion.
Yeah.
Um, I think had we and no shot at the owner, we have like a tendency to kind of talk about things that I don't think we had planned to talk about, and that kind of derails a lot of it. However, like the things we did talk about, it was nice to actually be there in person and saying things to people and like, like seeing their face as you're like, hey, this is what I think about this. What do you think about that? And to be able to just kind of tell people like where you think the business should go in person, I think it relays it much better.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a really good point and a really really specific thing to get into. Meeting together in person is what you want to do when you're discussing ideas. There were multiple times. So we drove down Thursday. We had that really nice like team dinner. We got to meet everyone. I was really excited to be able to meet our lawyers, meet Dane, meet everyone,
Yeah.
and like seeing Jorge down there. I'm like, oh hey Jorge, welcome,
Yeah.
welcome back to Nashville. Glad that you can kind of show us around, tell us kind of what's around here.
Yeah.
But that Friday we sat down, we worked at our Airbnb the whole day. And we sat down most of the time with laptops closed. We
Yeah.
all had our computers, we're like ready to work, but most of what we were trying to do is take some notes, but discuss ideas. What direction do we want to go? How does this function? So for example, at Good Rep Media, we're a small business marketing agency. We help small businesses get ranked on Google. Well, Joe owns a lawn care business. We helped out the lawn care business on the side, and it's doing well. And Joe saw that. He's not an SEO friend. Like he's an affiliate guy. He's done a lot of these different types of marketing things. And so when he sees this, oh, lawn care companies getting a bunch of organic traffic, this is legit. I would have had to pay XYZ for that amount of traffic. In this case, it's worth noting it's something like 6 grand a month in organic
Mhm.
traffic that he's getting, which is just insane. It's an insane amount of organic traffic, and we can track all those clicks and show and attribute it all. And so Joe coming to us with that information is like, hey, so how does that work? What does this look like? And I'm able to actually sit there and walk him through, this is what we do, this is how much time it takes, and provide a little bit more context in an in-person setting than if you were, trying to get him on Teams or over the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in person is a great place to be for like figuring out work that can't get done right now.
Hmm.
It like Teams is great if it's like, hey, can you go knock out this website edit really fast? I need you to add something. Great. Now I can close Teams, I can jump over there and I can do that. Whereas in person, it's like hey, in a month, like this is our like we're planning the future. We're not planning the immediate right now. We're thinking about where do we want to be in a month, in a half a year from now. Like that's what you're planning when you're sitting there together with people.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, because I always see this drawing back, and I want to draw this to like work from home and all of that, because we are a work from home company. We all work from home. It's primarily what we do, but being able to come together, I think, is important. That doesn't mean work from home is bad.
Yeah.
Uh, we have a lot of things that we need to do on a granular level that I don't need to sit in an office and do.
Yeah.
When I'm just sitting there and looking at stats, there's not much that I need. I need to look at the stats, I need to analyze them, and I need to think about them. And the more distractions that I have, the worse it is. I
Mhm.
need to critically think about some of the things that I'm reading, about some of these ideas. Now, when I need to bounce ideas and I'm like, hey, is my critical thinking correct? That's when you bring someone onto a call and you have that interaction. And being in person for those scenarios, I think would be a little bit beneficial.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of like, you're at home building a website, my dude. I don't think that is benefited by being on a worse computer in an office.
Yeah, no, not at all. I agree with that fully. Cody, on our trip, this is kind of related a little, like kind of like a step out of it. Do you feel like when we're looking at like the value we got out of sitting there around that table, how do you think that compared almost to the value we got just during the drive in the car? Because I almost think when we were in the car, like you, me, and Sam just shooting
Mhm.
the shit, talking about things and like what we could do, I almost feel like we got almost more real, maybe not actionable steps, but like things to like research and
Percolate and
like
think.
and like
Yeah.
ideas. Like I think we were doing better. And I think that maybe could have been because like when you don't have the CEO there too, who Joe has other things going on too. And so like he'll bounce ideas off of for like those other things that he's got that aren't necessarily like a good rep thing. And like it was a bit of a distraction. But when we were in the car,
Yeah.
it was just us talking good rep. Now, also we talked everything else that we talked, but we had 8 hours. We had a full work
You
day
can't
of a car.
talk good rep for 8 hours straight. Well, we could, but also I
Good.
think my brain would be mush while I'm
Yeah.
also trying to drive.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I want to say that there are levels to the conversation, and when you bring in the CEO, it's a whole new level. So like
Yes.
when we're talking, we can have some good conversations about specifically what we're working on. It's a lot more relevant to the projects that we have going on, because it's actionable stuff that we can do. And my whole thing is actionable steps. I do think in these types of meetings, like this weekend in Nashville, I don't think we came out with a bunch of actionable steps. I think we came out with a bunch of things to start looking into and trying,
And
and
figure
a
it
set
out.
of priorities.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have an actionable step, but we know that we want to get working on some more lawn care companies. So like, let's
And,
figure out what
and
those actionable steps
and
are.
that's kind of like what I was talking about in that difference between being in person and being on Teams or whatever. Like
Mhm.
Teams is where it's like, hey, here's your steps. I listed them out to you. Now you can go do them. Go get started on them.
Yeah.
Whereas in person, we're talking about what we needed to talk about to figure out what those actionable steps need to be. You know,
Yeah. And
like if
sometimes
we
it's
if
worth
we
noting.
didn't have that entry level of hey, we're gonna focus on lawn care more now, then we wouldn't know that we need to come up with actionable steps to focus more on lawn care.
Yeah. And at a point, it is also really just useful to hear others say out loud, this is what I find important.
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, the owner comes in and you get to hear them speak, and they say, hey, this is what I find important. This is what I want to be happening. So you have a direction to go. Like that, more than anything else, is a really, really important step. And I think that's something we got. Now, I want to point this out because when we're in the car, we're able to focus kind of down on good rep. And then you add the CEO, he's adding in another layer of complexity,
Yeah.
which can be both distracting from the work that you're doing. But do you think that's beneficial for you to know all of that like extra company information on top of that, even if you're just working on websites? I say just, but
Yeah, I think it depends. Like it's a very situational
yeah,
situation. Like certain details that, like, I don't need to know that the company is going bankrupt. If that, not that that's what was talked about, but like if that's like what he's saying, like, I mean, maybe it probably is good for me to know that so that I could
I was
kind
gonna say one
of,
awful example too. What a thing to jump to.
yeah, I'm just like saying, like, like there are things that like a CEO is gonna worry about, like that
It's
sometimes, like just because he's worried about it doesn't mean that that's something that's about to happen. And so sometimes when a CEO talks about that around their employees, that it's like, oh no, now like the employee is gonna jump to worst case every time, especially if you like don't know how to relay that information. And so yes, I think that sometimes a CEO shouldn't talk about some parts of a company if it doesn't pertain to other parts that he is talking about. Does that make sense?
I I think the jumping to bankruptcy is a little bit of a red flag there. So I'm gonna blanket this. We're not
Like,
bankrupt. That's not where we're
yeah,
at, and not
yeah,
what we're talking.
like no, and like that was
Jesus.
meant to be very much an extreme.
Yeah.
That was an
No.
intentional extreme. That's saying
You,
like,
you got to
yeah,
get that
like
extreme in there.
like the owner shouldn't be sitting here spilling
Talking about bankruptcy.
every bit of like bad thing that he can. Like I appreciate transparency, but then there's also a level where it's like, well, now your company is worried.
Yeah.
Like,
That's one thing to get at is you don't want the CEO sitting there oversharing, which I don't necessarily think like eh. That is some information for me personally, like in my position, like I need
yeah,
all of that type of information.
like
And you in your
managers, yeah,
position, I don't think
like
you do need.
certain information from a CEO standpoint needs to be trickled down, needs to go through some filters, like, and
So you do think that there so do you
yeah.
think there was value, but there you think that there was some stuff that you were like, I didn't need to know all of this, and little bit waste of time, little bit anxiety to do so?
So without going into too many details, I
Yeah.
think you and I both know what we're
Oh my god.
talking about here.
Joe does some Joeisms, that's
Joe
for
does
sure.
some Joeisms, and like, yeah, there was a whole thing that we kind of started talking about that it almost like the topic itself wasn't too bad to talk about, but on top of it, it's something that we've talked about so many times and have gotten our opinions out there so many times about it that you just don't want to sit here and say talk in circles over and over again. Um, I love having an owner that will let you say what you want to say. I hate having an owner that will not listen to it.
Yeah. So to give an idea here, if you're a business and you're dealing with a client or you're dealing with a customer and they're like, "Hey, do this thing," and you're like, "That thing's illegal," or "That thing is going to destroy your company or alienate all of your customers or doesn't work," and then they keep coming back like, "I still want to try that thing," and you're like, "It's still going to piss off a lot of people." And then they still stick on it. That's kind of what we get at. And I think that is something you're going to deal with any management situation. I mean, hell, I tell you to put buttons on everything and I still get
You don't
mean.
do that anymore, though. You're actually pretty good at not, but that's also
Oh, no, I do. It's just I usually go about it in a little bit of a different way
yeah. Also,
because I still
Edgar. Thank you, Edgar. This is the Nashville special. Picked it up on my time in the South.
are we talking we're talking paperclip theory, Sarah.
We're always
Always
on
talking
paperclip.
paperclips. But so on that end, for me personally, I think it's really valuable because I like getting that top level view. But you think it was a little bit distracting, a little bit too much for what we had, or would you
I
have
think
just rather
certain
focused
topics
in
of
on
it,
our stuff more?
like certain topics of what we talked
Yeah.
about. Like I said, there is one certain thing that I think we talked about for almost an hour that like wasn't good rep related at all. And
Yeah.
and that was like, and I feel like there was just a little bit of validation searching. You know,
Well, and
and,
it's literally like you're dealing with clients. Like
yeah, yeah.
every single time we hop on a client call and they're like, "So I'm feeling this way," and you're like, "Okay,
Well,
that's
I mean,
valid."
think about this. Think about this. Joe is a client. He's
Quite
internal, but
literally.
he is our client essentially. We are doing the same thing for his internal brands that we do for external clients. So
Yep.
in a way, he is just as much a client as any of them. He
And
just
that's why
also
we
likes our paychecks.
and that's why we got to keep him in check.
Exactly.
Well, and so on my end, I think that I always come away from these types of events that we do with a renewed energy, like a renewed like creative energy surrounding these projects. How do you feel regarding that? Do you feel like more driven? Do you feel we talked buy-in a lot. Where do you feel on that spectrum?
Yeah, I left feeling more ready to go and ready to work than I have in the past couple weeks. Like I've so I'm these past 2 weeks I've been very in between trips. You
Yeah.
know, like I was like telling myself when I come back from LA, I'm gonna be ready to hit the ground rolling. And then I got back from LA and it's like, hey, in a couple weeks we're gonna send you out to Nashville. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh man, now I'm in between these things that I'm thinking about. And like I think there is that level of now I don't have anything like that ahead of me, so I do feel better about that. And on top of that, talking to people and like just hearing us talk about like what we can do and like the success that we have while we talk about that in all of our daily meetings in person, it gets me more excited. Like Sam talking about our things. Like I don't in our morning meetings, I don't get that he gets excited about our stuff like I did
Mhm.
sitting around that table, kind of like talking about the things like with him there in person. And it
Yeah.
was cool to see that like he was also excited that like Cape Coral does well, like that, like it is doing that. And like we talked to Jay, when Jay asked us, you weren't there for it, but Jay had asked
Mhm.
us like, hey, how is the company doing? And we were like, we are the most legitimate we have ever felt. And like I saw Sam like be excited to talk about that. And
Yeah.
like that's cool because like that's an interaction that like I haven't really gotten to see him be excited about work stuff. It's normally we talk about what he's doing on socials and then he's kind of gone for the day for us. Like I don't interact with him work wise as much as I do
Yeah.
and so yeah, it definitely was cool to see that level of excitement and it's contagious.
Yeah. So on that end, I'm curious how we could better like express those things because I know for me, like personally, I really do appreciate the feedback of like, hey, I like doing this thing mainly because as a company, I think we're really good at if you want to do something, if you want to learn something, if you enjoy something, then let's do it so long as it's helping the company. So
Yeah.
like for example, if you want to step in and do like video editing stuff, go do it. If you want to step in and do some social media, if you want to step in and start writing, if you want to step in and like learn a skill that might help out, be on a podcast, produce some content, do this stuff, you can. And so I like when that type of buy-in comes out. And so I like hearing those things. And I feel as management, I generally don't get the like I'm excited for all of this vibe. Or when I do get it, it's almost like that's the expectation because I have to be manager. And
Yeah,
that's both it's a double-edged sword, good and bad.
and I mean, like I'm saying, like the way we interact, we don't
Yeah.
get that vibe like ever because it's all through Teams, through work meetings, and
Hmm.
it's harder to get that through a computer screen than it is in person. And honestly, I think that is the biggest benefit of a trip like this is getting there to like I said, if one person is excited about something in person, that can become very contagious and that
Yeah.
can get someone else excited about something and then that person gets someone else excited and it really helps to just get the company going again.
Yeah. And I will say so we didn't get the full good rep team out to Nashville and that was pretty well sad, I'm not going to lie. But also like it would have been a lot to have everyone out there with the lawyers, with people coming out to visit and Joe. I would really like to do like a full good rep team get together. We
Yeah.
kind of talked about it a little bit today and I'm the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, we're all relatively close. I mean, even if it was like all of us go down to Chicago and spend like a weekend
Right.
in Chicago together, like a
Yeah.
team building, like get together. I think that would be a lot of fun and beneficial because it does, like, very much so. And I think this is helpful if you're part of a work from home company, if you're part of any type of group, building community, being able to like put a face to it, put a face to your coworkers and interact with them on any type of level is, I think, hugely helpful. Maybe
Yeah.
not like the most important thing in the world because let's be real, you can work from home and we've been doing just fine. But if you come home from these types of events and you're energized and you're excited, and you have a little bit more of a relationship with your coworkers where you're a lot more comfortable checking your ego and calling them out and being like, hey, come on, man, that's not right, or this is good, this is great. We're calling out praise. We're a little bit more connected, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Yeah. A good sign of how ready to go I am after this trip is normally I wake up 5 minutes before I clock in my bed. I woke up an hour and a half before my shift today.
You sure it wasn't the time change?
No, because in theory, we should have been like it should have been a little tougher to like wake up on time. But
That's super funny. I will say I 100% was ready to go this morning, even though I did not want to be.
I'm sure it was more because I fell asleep on my couch at like 8:30, like 9 o'clock last night. I'm sure that weighed into it a lot.
Which, I mean, I will say, dude, having that early morning rise schedule is pretty nice sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyways, with this type of trip, if you're a business owner, I think you do want to get your employees together. I think you want them to be able to interact on some type of personal level, because as I mean, I can say as a manager, like, we have our meetings, we have our get-togethers, but it is kind of difficult to get you guys to open up sometimes, like,
Yeah.
just to have you like chat or tell us what's going on, and
I
it can be difficult to chat. So
I think Sam and I had a great bonding experience on that trip.
yeah.
Like Sam and I, like when we started hanging out, like there was a moment we were like up on the roof of Posties. We were up on Post Malone's rooftop bar, and like we were chilling. Jay went to the bathroom, and I looked over at him and like I was like, "Hey man, like I didn't realize, like back when I didn't realize you were coming out, like I'm just so happy you did. Thanks for coming." We like toasted our glass, like cheers, and
Yeah.
it was a good time.
Well, and you get those little moments where you're like, okay, yeah, we vibe now. And so I can think specifically. We've talked about events that I've gone to. One of the last events that I went to, like, I got to go to PubCon with Pierre, and we had some moments, like we got to hang out and spend time together and like actually like get to know each other. In most of these shows that I've gone to, like, I always talk about hanging out with Jay and Micah. Like,
Yeah.
we hung out with Jay. You got to go see him. Jay and I have slept in the same hotel room like 4 times. Like, we've
Yeah.
spent a week in the same room together, and like, that's, I mean, he's my brother. Like, we're chill. We're ready to go, and it's really really cool to kind of have that friendship that does transcend the workplace. Because, like I said, Jay doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool that we can kind of still have that little bit of a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, other end of the spectrum, work is not your family. Work does always make money at the end of the day. So I don't want to, like, your entire social circle should not be your coworkers all of the
Right.
time.
Very true. Very true.
I think that's the, like,
But if it is for a
boilerplate warning.
weekend, that's a good time.
Yeah, for a weekend, go hang out with them. This is a great time. But if I only ever like left my apartment to go hang out with coworkers or to go see Joe, could you imagine?
Oh yeah, that would be.
Ugh.
Wait, are you telling me that's not what you do?
No, it is not. Thankfully, I am so nerdy that I'm able to get out of my apartment and do other things.
That's
It's usually involving going to Magic the
I
Gathering
was gonna say,
stores.
yeah, you get out once a month.
Once every other month, usually on weekends. We'll see something happening. But with that said, I am going to be cutting this episode short. We are exhausted from a very long drive back yesterday. Very great trip for both of us. We are looking forward to hopefully a full show tomorrow. I think we have some really good stories. We're going to be sharing some more of our personal anecdotes from being down in Nashville, some of the different businesses that we've been to. Do you have any previews? Do you have any hot takes from Nashville that you want to share that you want to go over tomorrow?
I'm just gonna say, like, the Broadway was the big one. Fogo was the big one.
Broadway and Fogo.
Broadway and Fogo are probably the two that I'm gonna, that, and just like the city as a whole, the scooters and the bikes.
Scooters and bikes.
I honestly, like, there was a part of me, like, after we got home, Sam and I, after we got home, there was part of me that was like, I kind of want to go out on the bike again, just for like go whip it around, like around the block 2 or 3 times. But like I had to let my phone charge, and it was like 1 a.m. So I was like, nah. So I just woke up in the morning, like, you text me like, hey, I'm going to get coffee. this will be a good story for tomorrow, but I'll retell it then. You're like, hey, me and Cassidy are going to get coffee. And like I was awake when you text me. I could like hear you guys out there. I was like, I'm gonna lay down here for like another like 15 minutes, and then I'm just gonna hop on the bike and go catch up.
Which, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of my favorite parts was we went to a couple different coffee shops, a couple different places nearby, and we were right downtown in an industrial train yard. So we got to walk around. I walked 2 miles through dark back alleys with my partner. It'll be a good story. But with
You
that,
guys went down alleys on your walk back?
oh, dude, we did some sketchy stuff. It was my favorite time. That 2 mile walk back from it was a great time.
It was
But
the time you guys kind of get a little alone time for the first time in the entire weekend.
My goodness, more than anything else, we got back and Cassidy's texting me right now because she's at the hospital working. She's like, I need to sit in silence alone for a little bit. And I was like, you can have some silent alone time tonight. That's fair.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time around.
You can lock yourself in the room with the cats and just like we'll get some like little audio pads, put them up in the room to stop any extra echoey noise, and you can just sit in silence.
Maybe that's something we should talk about too, because I've been thinking about needing some audio pads,
doing a little better
with this room.
In your room. Yeah. You can also just get like heavy blankets and just like hang them up on walls that aren't on camera, and that will help too.
Well, it's like I already have these up, and so I kind of want to get something over here behind the TV, fill in this space back over on, that's on this side of the hang-ups. Yeah. But we'll see. That stuff comes later. For now, that's been Lunch with the Good Rep Boys on the Joey Matterhorn channel. We will be back live tomorrow on the Good Rep Media channel at noon, going over a little bit more personal stories from our time in Nashville. If you enjoyed this live, like, comment, subscribe, let us know. Get down in those comments if you've ever been to Nashville and we missed something, because I promise you we did. Let us know. We'll do it again. Honestly, that was not the worst drive in the world. Maybe I won't do it when we need to hit a Brazilian steakhouse on the same day that we drive down.
I voiced my concerns like a week before. Like everyone's like, we'll have hours. I'm like, what if we hit traffic? We can hit an hour long traffic, and then like we're.
I was on your side the whole time. I was on your side the whole time, and that's why I was pushing. Like I want to be on top of this, and we weren't late. We got our Brazilian steakhouse, but you'll get that story tomorrow.
Time change, we would have missed it. All right.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Without the time change, we would have missed it.
Yeah, without the time change, we would have missed it. They would have sucked. But we didn't. And we'll go over more later.